I've been talking a lot lately about wild campers and their claims that you know, there's not that many places to camp. You'll get chafed off. There's a farmer hiding under every bush waiting to pounce on you and tell you to leave, and that's pretty much become a myth. However, I was here a few days ago, very wet day, and I was actually in this wood making another clip about camping in conifer plantations. It's the psychology of it, really. Half the battle is actually knowing that you actually can camp in relative peace, you know, and except for a few unlucky cases, the vast majority of wild campers who end up getting challenged do so because they just advertise themselves and they're asking for trouble. And I put great store in these conifer plantations. I'll make no excuses and no apologies for repeating it over and over again, but there's hundreds of thousands of acres of these conifer plantations, and other than a few foresters and maybe the odd walkers, if there's a public footpath through them, they are pretty much left undisturbed. Once every few years, a couple of times a year perhaps, a forestry guy, a manager might turn up to assess the value of the trees or the how well they're growing, and the chances of one of them bumping into you is almost nil. And of course I do mention about getting out of line of sight of buildings and things like that, but most of these places are in such remote places that you just simply will never ever get disturbed. Even flashing your torch around of a night, there's just no one around, and if anyone was around looking out of a bedroom window on a farm, for instance, you know, they'd have to be there at that precise moment, and then are they going to bother? As I say, most of these woodlands belong to, in Wales, Natural Resources Wales, Natural England. In England and Scotland's got its own agency, but of course you can camp where you want in Scotland, so it doesn't really matter. But I've decided now to come back and camp in this wood anyway, so I'll make a little video clip out of this, and I'll add that as an additional upload. It's been raining for weeks, and this is the 4th consecutive weekend where it's been really bad weather, but it's Sunday today and it's picked up, so I'll stay overnight till tomorrow, and it's about 6:20 in the evening now. There's a nice breeze coming through here, so that'll keep the midges away. There is a problem with these type of places in the summer. They can get full of midges, and it's not a very pleasant experience, but nonetheless I've found this little spot here. I've actually just kicked a few branches out the way. You can see those branches there. I've just moved those, and I've got myself a nice little flat area. The sun's just shining on it. It's good enough for what I want. I've got a little 2-man tent with me, just big enough for me in the bag, and I always put a tarp over my tent to give me an extra layer, and a little bit of extra camouflage as well, although I'm not overlooked here at all. As I've mentioned elsewhere in another clip I'll be uploading, or will have uploaded by the time this one's uploaded. But so I'm going to pitch my little tent here, and that won't take long. Tidy up a bit more, move a few more of these twigs and pine cones so I'm not sleeping on them and sticking them in my back, and then we'll go off and have a little explore. I brought with me here, just for added interest, a couple of live catch mouse traps. There's one there, and I'll put one over there. I'll just recheck that on the way past. Put a bit of loose grain down on the floor. There's grain in the back of it. You have lots of field mice in these woods, and bank voles. and they'll climb quite high up into the trees as well. I've filmed field mice and bankfuls 20-foot up pine trees, and I'll just set a couple of these traps overnight and just see if there's any again in the morning. A bit of added interest. Decided to fry up this bloody thing, German it is, from Aldi. A little one of them. Not quite sure what it is. Potatoes and bits of meat and stuff, I think. It looks okay. It seems to last quite a while. It's in a sealed foil container. So that's for tea. Washed down with a big mug of hot tea. Facing out towards the west there, where it's brightest, as the sun's setting there. There's a bit of mist on the hills over there. It's still quite light outside the wood, but one of the things about conifer woods, of course, is they get dark a lot quicker inside than they do outside, and conversely, in the morning it takes that bit longer to brighten up inside the wood than it does outside. It'll be a bit darker in this one, a bit longer tomorrow, because as I say, that bright part of the sky there is in the west with the sun setting. Right behind me is the east, and the sun will come up somewhere over there, and there's a mountain behind me, so that will interfere with the rising of the sun and shade the wood for a while until the rising sun actually breaks over the top of the mountain. A nice mug of tea now. Wash down that Aldi meal. Bit bland really, but it does the trick. Nice and quiet in here now. A stream over there, babbling. Yeah, very peaceful. And of course, no concerns whatsoever about anyone coming along and saying, sorry, you've got to move, no camping allowed. Just got to have a bit of common sense, that's all. Well, it's 11:30 PM and a bit tired now, so time to turn in, snatch a few hours if I can. And just before I came in the Thames, it was absolutely pitch black out there. So unfortunately the sky isn't clear, it's a bit of high cloud. People who go out into remote places away from light pollution, we have the privilege of seeing many more stars in the sky than someone who lives in a town or a city surrounded by lights. Light pollution in towns or cities is a big problem. But out here, it's a different world when you look up. You can get away from any roads, buildings, get over the dip in the forest or in the mountains, and look up, and you'll see more stars than you could ever imagine. It's always good. The atmospherics are right. As I mentioned before, I brought my little Kindle there, so I'm just going to doze off to a few sounds of the 60s. So until the morning, Nostal Powell. Good night, everyone. Nice morning now. The morning after the night before. I had a half decent sleep last night. Probably about 50% of what I normally might. It was at home. Nice and quiet. There's a little stream running through the wood there, and it's not particularly loud, but when I was in the tent last night, it seemed amplified through the ground. It's only about 10 yards away. So I could hear that most of the night. But I did drift off to sleep to the sound of the 60s. Last night I was poking about. As I mentioned, I like to bring a couple of trail cameras or things like that. And yesterday I brought also a couple of live catch mouse traps. In the hope that I might catch a field mouse or a bang vole. Both of which should be reasonably common in a wood like this. I set 2 traps. I've just checked them. One was nothing in it. However, I'm a few feet away now and I can see that put my little plastic bag prepared. This trap has been tripped. You can see that the green thing there, that's dropped down. So I just we have a field mouse in there. Right, I'll just sort this out. There's a feisty little thing. I'll try not to handle them. I'll let them go in a minute. It's a long-tailed field mouse. You might be able to see the long tail there, hence its name. An interesting brown stripe down his nose, that one. A bit more marked than normal. Big black eyes. Keep it in focus. These plastic bags they're ideal for displaying these small mammals. These woods are full of these mice, and sometimes they can get into the bags and things and start chewing things up. I'm gonna let this guy go. He's coming out the bag now. Sniffing around. Little fella, there he is. Come, off you go. And he's off. Huh, straight down a hole. He certainly knew that was there. Yep. Yeah, looks like he got his bearings there and straight to a place of safety. Excellent.